To understand diode, we need to understand what is electricity. In electronics, we say that the current flows from the positive terminal to the negative terminal. Electrons flow in the circuit too, but in the opposite direction of the current. For conductors like metal ruler, there are free electrons in the material. These electrons move freely, and when we have moving electrons, we have current. An insulator, however, has no free electron, no electron movement, no current. Some insulators can conduct electricity when we mix them with special materials. This mixing process is called doping. When we dope an insulator, they become semiconductor. There are two ways we can dope an insulator. We can either increase the number of free electrons in the material, or we can increase the free spaces for the electrons to move. These extra spaces are called holes. Semiconductors with more electrons are known as N-type, whereas semiconductors with more holes are known as P-type. When we say electrons move from left to right, we can also see that the holes move from right to left. Think of it like this. There are 5 empty chairs and 4 people are moving along the chairs. Imagine that they move one by one along the chair. As they move, the empty spots move as well. It looks kind of like this. Now, let's talk about diode. A diode is formed when we put a P-type semiconductor and an N-type semiconductor right next to each other. We call the P side anode and the N side cathode. The area where the N-type semiconductor meets the P-type semiconductor is called a junction. At the junction, nearby free electrons will fill up nearby holes when there is no electricity involved. Now, let's connect the diode correctly. We connect the cathode side of the diode to the negative terminal of the battery and the anode side of the diode to the positive terminal of the battery. The electrons on the P side would want to move out from the diode and into the wire towards the positive terminal. And when this happens, it frees up more holes to be filled by electrons from the N side. When electrons return to the positive terminal, they will come out of the negative terminal again and into the N side of the diode. These electrons move from N to P and out of this diode. Thus, we now have electrons moving around the circuit and across the diode. This is now a complete circuit. Now, let's see what would happen if we connect it in reverse. We connect the cathode side to the positive terminal and the anode side to the negative terminal. The electrons on the N side now would move towards the terminal and away from the junction. Electrons cannot cross the junction and complete the circuit. One way to think about this is to have the following assumption. We assume that the holes are parking lots, the electrons are cars, the P-type semiconductor is the shopping mall, and the N-type semiconductor is the world outside the shopping mall, whereas the junction is the auto pay gate going into the shopping mall. Let's imagine this. You are going to the shopping mall on a weekend, and you are looking for a parking spot in the mall. You are now at the N side of the junction, which means you are at the other side of the auto pay gate right before going to the mall. You can see that all the spots in the mall have been taken, so you can't go into the mall. You just have to wait outside. The cars in the shopping mall are not leaving. Therefore, you have to wait outside for an empty spot. Why are the cars not leaving? Because the weather is bad outside. When we connect the anode or the P side to the positive terminal, the weather is now sunny. Cars want to finally leave the mall. When cars start to leave, they leave behind empty parking spots. Then cars waiting at the auto pay gate can now enter the shopping mall and fill up all the empty spots. When cars move in and out of the shopping mall, it is the same as a complete circuit. When we connect the N side or anode to the positive terminal, it is now sunny and nice weather outside. Most cars, including you, don't even want to go to the mall. Moreover, the mall is now closed. So empty parking spots remain empty. and the cars remained away from the mall, away from the auto-pay gate. There are no cars moving in and out of the mall. The circuit is not complete. In conclusion, here are two things you need to know about diodes. 1. Diodes consist of two pieces of semiconductors. 2. Diodes allow the current to flow in one direction only.